Have you noticed something strange happening within you? The same dreams that once excited you now feel distant. The same goals that once drove you now feel heavy. The same pleasures that once sparkled now seem dull, almost silent. And you wonder, why am I losing interest in everything? What is happening to me? What if this is not emptiness, but evolution? What if this quiet disinterest is not the end of your passion, but the beginning of your awakening? Stay with this message until the very end, because what you are about to hear may completely change the way you understand this phase of your life. Before we begin, if you feel drawn to messages that awaken the inner self, subscribe to Inner Divine, write in the comments, "I am ready for my next level," and share this video with someone who may be silently going through the same transformation. Now let us begin. The hidden meaning behind losing interest. Paramahansa Yogananda often explained that the soul evolves in cycles. There are periods of intense activity, ambition, and outward seeking, and then there are periods when the soul begins to withdraw its fascination from the outer world. During this withdrawal, people often feel confused. They think something is wrong. They think they are becoming lazy, depressed, or lost. But in many cases, something far more sacred is happening. Your consciousness is changing its direction. The mind that once chased noise is now beginning to crave silence. The heart that once chased approval is now beginning to crave meaning. The spirit that once chased excitement is now beginning to crave truth. When the inner self begins calling, the outer world slowly loses its grip. This is why things that once thrilled you may suddenly feel empty. Not because life has become meaningless, but because your soul is searching for deeper meaning. Reason 1: your soul is outgrowing old desires. Imagine wearing clothes that once fit perfectly but suddenly feel tight. The clothes are not wrong, you simply outgrew them. In the same way, many desires belong to earlier versions of you. Goals formed by social pressure, ambitions shaped by comparison, dreams borrowed from the expectations of others. For a while, they feel exciting because they promise validation. But once your consciousness expands, these borrowed desires begin to feel heavy. You may still try to pursue them, but the enthusiasm disappears. The motivation fades. You start feeling disconnected from the very things you worked hard to achieve. This is not failure. This is expansion. Yogananda taught that true fulfillment comes only when our actions align with the deeper purpose of the soul. Whenever we move away from that purpose, life begins to feel mechanical. Energy decreases. Interest fades. Not as punishment, but as guidance. Your inner being is quietly saying, do not settle for what once satisfied you. You are ready for something higher. Reason 2: the mind is detoxing from overstimulation. Modern life constantly bombards us with stimulation, endless scrolling, constant notifications, comparison, competition, information overload. For years, the nervous system runs at high speed, chasing stimulation after stimulation. Then suddenly, a shift happens. The mind becomes tired of constant noise. Activities that once entertained you begin to feel exhausting. Social interactions that once energized you now feel draining. Even entertainment feels repetitive. This is not emptiness, this is mental detox. Just as the body loses appetite during healing, the mind sometimes loses interest in stimulation while it reorganizes itself. During this phase, silence may feel uncomfortable at first, because you are not used to it. But slowly, something beautiful begins to emerge: clarity. You begin to notice your thoughts more clearly. You begin to feel your emotions more deeply. You begin to sense what truly matters and what never did. The loss of interest is not life leaving you, it is awareness returning to you. Reason 3: you are being redirected. Many people believe motivation comes from forcing themselves. But deeper motivation comes from alignment. When you are moving in the wrong direction, life sometimes removes the emotional fuel so that you stop walking that path. This is why people often lose interest before major life changes. Careers that once felt important suddenly feel meaningless. Friendships that once felt natural begin to feel distant. Habits that once felt enjoyable begin to feel empty. It feels confusing, but something powerful is happening. Your inner compass is recalibrating. When a ship changes direction, it cannot keep accelerating in the old path. First, it slows down. That slowing down can feel uncomfortable, even frightening, but it is necessary for the new direction to begin. Many people panic during this phase and try to force themselves back into their old identity. They try to revive old passions artificially. But the more they force it, the heavier life feels. Instead, the wiser approach is to pause and ask, what new direction is trying to emerge in my life? Because whenever something within you loses interest, something deeper within you is preparing new interest. Reason 4, you are entering a spiritual transition. According to Yogananda's teachings, every individual passes through stages of awakening, whether consciously or unconsciously. One of the earliest stages is a quiet dissatisfaction with purely material pursuits. This dissatisfaction is not dramatic. It is subtle. A gentle sense that there must be more. Achievements no longer feel as exciting as they once did. Temporary pleasures no longer feel fulfilling. The heart begins searching for something it cannot yet name. This is the beginning of spiritual transition. During this time, people often feel alone because they cannot explain what they are experiencing. Others may think they are simply tired or unmotivated. But internally, a deeper shift is happening. The soul is asking bigger questions. Who am I beyond my roles? What truly fulfills me? Why am I here? What kind of life actually brings peace? These questions slowly reshape priorities. And as priorities change, interest naturally shifts. Old attractions fade so that new awareness can rise. Reason 5, life is preparing you for a higher level of focus. When a seed is about to break open, it first becomes still underground. Nothing seems to be happening on the surface, but inside, transformation is intense. Similarly, before entering a new phase of purpose, many people go through a period of apparent inactivity. They feel less excited about distractions because their energy is being gathered for something more meaningful. You may feel less interested in random conversations, meaningless entertainment, or goals that do not align with your deeper values. This is not boredom, it is energy conservation. Your attention is slowly reorganizing itself so that when the right opportunity appears, you can move toward it with clarity. Many breakthroughs are preceded by quiet phases that look like stagnation from the outside but are actually preparation from the inside. What you should do during this phase. First, do not panic. Losing interest temporarily does not mean you are losing your passion forever. It means your passion is being refined. Second, create space for silence. Spend a few minutes daily without distractions. Walk without your phone. Sit quietly. Let your thoughts settle. Often, new direction appears only when the noise decreases. Third, explore gently instead of forcing excitement. Try new activities, read new ideas, meet new people, but without pressure. Curiosity grows naturally when the mind is relaxed. Fourth, listen to what repeatedly calls your attention. Sometimes the next chapter of life does not arrive as a loud announcement, it appears as a quiet recurring interest that refuses to disappear. And finally, trust the process. Evolution often feels uncomfortable while it is happening. The caterpillar might think it is dissolving, not realizing it is becoming a butterfly. Ask yourself honestly. Are you truly losing interest in life? Or are you losing interest in the version of life that no longer reflects who you are becoming? Because these two things are very different. Many people who later create meaningful lives pass through this exact phase. They feel disconnected from the old world before they discover the new one. They feel uncertain before clarity arrives. They feel still before momentum returns. What feels like emptiness today may be space being created for something far greater tomorrow. If this message resonates with you, it is not accidental. Perhaps you are standing at the doorway of a new inner chapter. Do not rush to escape the silence. Sometimes the silence is where your real voice begins to speak. Write in the comments, I trust my transformation. Share this message with someone who may be silently feeling the same shift. And subscribe to Inner Divine for more awakenings that remind you who you truly are. Because sometimes, when you suddenly lose interest in everything, it is not that life is fading. It is that your soul is preparing you for a life that finally feels real.